Hello students of class 7. Today we are going to do your chapter 1 of Superb English Grammar book. Let's revise. Question number 1. Rearrange these words to make sentences as directed and punctuate them. Number 1. Me drink to give milkshake as an imperative sentence. Now students, what is an imperative sentence? An imperative sentence is something which makes requests, give commands or give advice. So it will be give me milkshake to drink. Number 2. Worst, your, be, can, indecision, mistake. It has to be an assertive sentence. Assertive sentences, students, are something which simply states something or declarative statement. That means it declares something. So your indecision can be your worst mistake. Number 3. You, a, why, noise making, were. Interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentences, students, ask questions and why were you making a noise? Now, noise is an uncountable noun and does not have a vowel sound. Therefore, we use the article a. A. Why were you making a noise? Now, what is an article? An article is a word that comes before a noun to show whether the noun is a specific noun or a general noun. If the noun is a specific noun, then we use the article the. If the noun is a general noun, we use the article a or an. Number 4. His, a, never, person, looks, judge from imperative sentence. Now students, as we know, imperative sentences, they make requests, give commands or advice. So never judge a person from his looks. That means this is an advice which is being given in the imperative statements. Never judge a person from his looks. Now imperative sentences can be of two forms. One is affirmative and one is negative. Affirmative means always positive, in the positive sense, which says yes. So it tells the reader or the listener to take a specific action. Example, put your plate in the sink is an affirmative sentence. Or call me. This is also an affirmative sentence. But what is a negative imperative sentence? It tells the reader or listener to not do something. Example, don't touch the kettle. Stop making that noise. Now, what are prepositions? Preposition is a connecting word showing the relation between a noun or a pronoun and some other word in a sentence. Now children, will come over to the fifth one. Performance, a, great, what, exclamatory sentence. Now as we know, in an exclamatory sentence we have to have an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence, and it shows some form of expression of joy or joro or whatever form, in some like ouch or hooray. These are all exclamations. So exclamatory sentences should end with an exclamation mark. What a great performance, exclamation mark. Now children, will go over to question number 2. Choose and write the correct option. Number 1. Samrat worked dash to win the prize. Hardly or hard? Now children, I will tell you why we will use hard. The answer is hard, but why? Why not hardly? Because hard indicates that the person is working a lot. It is an adverb. But hardly indicates that the person is doing almost nothing. That is why Samrat worked hard in order to win the prize. Now in order to win something, we have to work hard, and that is what working hard indicates, that the person is working a lot to win the prize. But hardly indicates that the person is doing almost nothing. So the correct option is hard. Second, children, solve your problems yourself or yourselves. Now yourself refers to the pronoun you, singular form. Yourselves refers to the pronoun you, plural form. So children, solve your problems yourselves, because children is in plural. It's a plural pronoun. That is why we use yourselves and not yourself, which is used for singular form of you. Had it been child, it would have been yourself. Had it been, because it is children, it is yourselves. Next, number 3. Children, solve their problems yourselves or themselves. Now first we will see what is themselves. Themselves is a third person plural reflexive pronoun. Now children, let me refresh your memory about reflexive pronoun. Reflexive means to refer back or reflect back to a person or thing, often used when the subject and object of a verb are the same. Examples of reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, and themselves. Now, children solve their problems themselves. Why? Because it is referring back to the children over here, that the children are solving their problems themselves. That is why the answer is themselves. Next, fourth, Sarthak solved this question dash yourself or himself. Now, yourself is a reflexive form of you. Himself is a reflexive pronoun, reflexive form of he. Himself is a third person singular reflexive pronoun. Now, what is a reflexive pronoun? It refers back to a person or thing, often used when the subject and the object of a verb are the same. So, Sarthak solved this question yourself. Now, number 5. Bears walk slowly, whether it is a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. Now, we know that verbs are of two kinds. They are of transitive or intransitive. So, first let us see what are transitive verbs and what are intransitive verbs. Now, transitive verbs, children, is a verb that denotes an action that passes over from the doer or the subject to an object. Example I will give you. The young boy broke the toy. Now, in this, children, broke is the verb, the subject is the boy, and the object is toy. So, the action expressed by the verb broke passes over from the subject boy to the object toy. So, it is transitive. That means it is transiting. That is why the verb broke is a transitive verb over here. I am just giving you an example before we go over to the actual question. Now, intransitive verb, a verb that doesn't require an object to complete its sense, is called an intransitive verb. Example, I cried bitterly. Here the action stops with the subject I. What is the verb here? Cried. How did I cry? Bitterly. But I am not showing any action on any other object. The subject itself is describing that I cried bitterly. So, cried is the verb, I is the subject, bitterly is the adverb. What is an adverb? A word or expression that modifies a verb or an adjective, etc. So, coming over to your question number 5, bears walk slowly. This is an intransitive verb where bear is the subject and walk is the verb and slowly is the adverb. So, there is no action that is passing over from the doer, that is the bear, or the subject to any object. There is no object. There is only a subject bear. I hope it is clear to you, children. Next, bears eat honey. Whether this is a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. Now, eat is a verb which is transitive. Bear is the subject and honey is the object. Now, here the verb eat is being used to show its action on the object honey. By whom? By the subject bears. So, this is a transitive verb because the action is being transited from the subject bear to the object honey. Now, number 7, one of these boys dash very active, is or are. Now, when deciding whether to use is or are, we have to see if the noun is singular or plural. If the noun is singular, we use is. If it is plural, we use are. So, over here, one of these boys, that means one is singular noun. So, we use is and therefore we don't use are. We would have used are if two of these boys are very active. But for a singular noun, we use is, and for a plural noun, we use are. I hope it is clear, children. Now, number 8, most of these boys dash very active, is or are. It is are because most denotes plural noun for boys. Number 9, Mrs. Vandana dash maths in a very impressive way, teach or teaches. Now, we have to see whether the subject here is singular or plural. If the subject is singular, then we use the verb will have s or es added to it. Now, if the subject is plural, the verb will not have s or es added to it. And here, since Mrs. Vandana is singular, who is the subject over here, therefore we will add teaches, s to teach. Therefore, Mrs. Vandana teaches maths in a very impressive way is the answer. Number 10, the cost of these books dash not much. Now, here Why have we used are and not is? Because the books over here, which is a subject, is a plural noun. Now punctuate these sentences. What do you mean by punctuation? By adding proper sense to the sentences which are given in a non-understandable way. We have to put it in a proper defined way. Number one, why don't you join us, said Ritika. Now as you can see, the sentence is starting with a small letter. There is no full stop given in the end. So why don't you join us, said Ritika has a question word why, which is an interrogating word. So why don't you join us, question mark, with an apostrophe mark, said Ritika. Now Ritika is a proper noun, so the name Ritika will start with a capital letter and full stop. Number two, what a memorable trip it was. Starting capital letter, what a memorable trip it was. That means it is an exclamatory sentence. The first one was an interrogatory sentence, second one is a exclamatory sentence. What a memorable trip it was, exclamation mark. Next, Archana went to Rishikesh and Haridwar with her family. Archana proper noun, Rishikesh proper noun, Haridwar proper noun. So all these three will start with capital letters, with her family, full stop. Fourth one, Sangam goes to Buddhist monastery every Sunday. Now Sangam proper noun, Buddhist proper noun, Sunday proper noun. So Sangam goes to Buddhist monastery every Sunday, full stop. Number 5, Ravi, you haven't eaten dinner, said Sudha. Now this is again a sentence which is telling something to Ravi. Sudha is saying something to Ravi. So Ravi, comma, you haven't eaten dinner, comma, with an apostrophe mark, said Sudha. Now number 4, change the voice. Voices are of two types. To refresh your memory, they are of active voice and passive voice. Now for example, I will give you, Mansi teaches Akash. Akash is taught by Mansi. Now both these sentences, they have the same meaning, but they are written differently. Now in the first sentence, Mansi is a subject, verb is teaches, and whom is Mansi teaching? Mansi is teaching Akash. So Mansi subject, verb teaches is the doer of the action. She teaches Akash. Now here the subject Mansi is in active voice. Akash is taught by Mansi. Here Akash becomes the subject and is the receiver of the action. Now some action is being done on Akash. He is being taught by whom? He is being taught by Mansi. So this is a passive voice. A verb that shows what is done to the subject is said to be in the passive voice. Now let's go over to your questions. Question number 1, I am buying a novel. First we will identify what is the subject here, I. What is happening? Buying as the action. Novel is the object. So we will start your sentence with the object now. A novel is being bought by me. Number 2, Harsh imitates many film actors. Now first you have to identify the subject Harsh. Imitates is the action. Film actors is the object. So now the sentence in the passive voice will start with your object, which is film actors here. So many film actors are imitated by Harsh. Number 3, Ratna wrote a poem. Now in this case, what is your subject? Ratna is the subject, wrote is the action, and poem is the object. So a poem, we start the sentence in the passive voice with the object. So a poem was written by Ratna. Here wrote becomes written because wrote was in simple past tense, which in passive voice becomes written since it has been done in the past. Number 4, they have planted some saplings. Now in this, they is the subject, planted is the action, saplings is the object. So some saplings, we start the sentence with the object. Some saplings have been planted by them. Number 5, he will have locked the door. Identify the subject he, locked is the action, door is the object. We start the sentence with the object. The door will have been locked by him. Now note, will have been is used as a helping verb in passive voice sentences of future perfect tense. Please remember, of future perfect tense we use will have been as a helping verb in the passive voice with all singular nouns and pronouns like you, they, he, she, it. You have to keep this in mind, children. Next, you were typing a letter. Here you is the subject, typing is the action, and letter is the object. So we start the sentence with the object. A letter was being typed by you. Here were typing, which was in the simple past, it becomes was being typed, past continuous, being typed. Now change into indirect speech. Now this is very important, children. Number 1, he says, comma, within apostrophe marks, I keep my classroom neat and clean. Answer will be, he says that he keeps his classroom neat and clean. Now children, we need to understand if the reporting verb, which is the reporting verb here, says, is in the present tense or the future tense, the tense of the verbs in the reported speech remains unchanged. Here the reporting verb is he says, which remains unchanged. So he says, the reporting verb is in the present tense. So the tense of the verbs in the reported speech remains unchanged. He says that he keeps his classroom neat and clean, which remains unchanged. Now I said to him, actions speak louder than words. Answer, I told him that actions speak louder than words. Now children, we have to keep in mind that if in the reported speech this is actions speak louder than words, this is expressing a universal truth or sentences which express a habitual fact, their tense will remain unchanged. So I said becomes I told, but this whole sentence will remain the same here. Why? Because it is expressing a universal truth or a habitual fact or something which is understood. So I told him that actions speak louder than words. Next, she said to me, Shreya was asking about you. Now if the reporting word said is followed by an object, now what is the reporting verb here? Said. It is followed by an object, me. So she, the subject, said is the reporting verb followed by an object, me. Then what happens? Said becomes told. So she told me that Shreya had been asking about me. Now something to keep in mind, very important, is pronouns and possessive adjectives of the second person are changed according to the object of the reporting verb. Now in question number 3, reporting verb said is followed by object pronoun me. So said to me becomes told me. Here Shreya was asking is past continuous tense. Number 4, you said to her, I bought a gift for you. Now you told her that you had bought a gift for her. Now here I bought is in simple present tense, which becomes had bought, simple past tense, because here the reporting verb said is followed by an object her. So said becomes told. So you told her that you had bought a gift for her. Next, mother said to the child, you have not revised the lesson. Reporting verb said followed by object child. So said becomes told. Mother told the child that she had not revised the lesson. Have not present perfect becomes had not past perfect. Now teacher said to the students, all that glitters is not gold. Now here the teacher told the students, because the reporting verb said is followed by objects students. So said becomes told. Teacher told the students that all that glitters is not gold. Here subject is teacher, reporting verb said followed by object students, therefore said becomes told. Now exception to this rule is if the reported speech expresses a universal truth or a habitual fact or describes a state of affairs which still exists when the speech is reported, its tense remains unchanged, as in your question number 2 of 5. I said to him actions speak louder than words, we had done. So there is an exception to certain rules if it is the universal truth or a habitual fact or it describes a state of affairs. Next, do as directed. Think before you speak. Now you have to tell the kind of sentence. This is an imperative sentence as it is giving you some advice that you should think before you speak. It is an advice. Number 2, form adverbs for the following. Now before going over to this, let us understand what are adverbs. An adverb is a word which modifies the meaning of a verb. What is a verb? A verb is a doing word. An adjective, a describing word, or another adverb. Adverbs are of 5 kinds. Adverb of manner, which asks how. Adverb of place, which asks where. Adverb of time, when. Adverb of frequency, how often. Adverb of degree, how much or to what extent or degree. So extreme is an adjective which takes its adverb form as extremely, means of the highest degree or intensity. It emphasizes or intensifies the meaning of the adjective extreme. Next is gentle. Now gentle becomes gently. Gentle is an adjective and gently is the adverb of manner which is got by adding ly. Now noisy becomes noisily. Noisy is an adjective and the adverb is noisily. Now when the adjective ends in y, like in noisy, N-O-I-S-Y, it is ending in y. So next when we change it to its adverb form, noisily, what happens is when the adjective ends in y preceded by a consonant. Now it is ending in y and preceded by the consonant s. So y is changed to I. Now this y becomes I and ly is added to it. So I-L-Y. Instead of y, it becomes I-L-Y. Why? Because this adjective is ending with y and it is before it. That means it is preceded by a consonant, which in this case is s. You have to remember these things. Next, children, general is an adjective whose adverb is generally. This is an adverb of degree which tells us about the intensity or degree of an action or a quality. Next, form antonyms by adding suitable prefixes. Prefixes means before. So, antonyms means opposites. So, mortal becomes immortal. Before, we have to add suitable prefix before mortal, before legal, before pure, before able, which will give you the opposite meaning of them. So mortal becomes immortal, legal becomes illegal, pure becomes impure, and able becomes unable. Next, milk is good for health. Fill an article if necessary. Now no article is used before milk. Why? Because milk is a plural countable noun. It is a liquid. So it cannot be counted. It is not a countable noun. It is a plural countable noun. So we cannot add any article before it. Next, the more we get, the more we desire. We have filled the articles the and the over here. Why? We use more with countable or uncountable nouns when we compare two things. So the article the can be used with both these countable and uncountable nouns, whether in the singular or in the plural form. You have to remember these things. Next, number 6. Global warming must be controlled dash all the glaciers will melt. Fill a suitable conjunction. Now children, to refresh your memory, conjunction means which adds to phrases, words or sentences or clauses. So here the suitable conjunction or the coordinating conjunction is otherwise. Now children, you might have a doubt, why can't we use global warming must be controlled or else? Why can't we write or else instead of otherwise? There is a reason for it. Now or else is used when the situation is not very strict or very grim or very severe and we need to be little polite. Otherwise is more strict, more severe situation and is usually used to share serious consequences, whereas in this case it is if global warming is not controlled, then all the glaciers will melt. It is a very serious concern or consequence. That is why we use otherwise and not or else. Now slowly but confidently he moved ahead. Underline the adverb and tell the kind. Now the adverbs over here are slowly and confidently. It is adverb of manner. Slowly and confidently. Kindly underline it, children. Now number 11. Someone is knocking. Dash the door. At or on. It is at the door. Number 12. Do you like stories? Do you like poems. Join using conjunction. Conjunction is joining words. Now stories and poems are in the same category. So do you like stories or poems? Or shows choice or possibilities which come under the same genre. Now number 7, change into negative. Now before that, let us understand what is a negative sentence. A negative sentence is one that indicates that some action is not happening, something no longer exists, or that a subject does not possess a particular quality. Certain negative words are not, no, nobody, nothing, nowhere, nowhere, none, and no one. Now, Sneha waters the plants. Sneha does not water the plants. Number 2. He inaugurated the new showroom. He did not inaugurate the new showroom. Number 3. They will invite Mr. Sharma as chief guest. They will not invite Mr. Sharma as the chief guest. Number 4. Parag has cleaned his study room. Parag has not cleaned his study room. Number 5. I want to eat some cake. Answer, I don't want to eat any cake. So all these sentences of the answers are in negative. That means they are doing just the opposite of what is in the questions asked. Now change into interrogative number 8. We throw garbage in the dustbin. So to change into interrogative, the rule is auxiliary verb followed by subject followed by main verb. Now to understand this, children, auxiliary verbs. What are auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs help the main verb to describe some action. That action has either happened in the past or happening in the present or will happen in the future. So the question, we throw garbage in the dustbin, can be changed into integrative sentence as following the rule. Do, which is the auxiliary verb, followed by the subject we, followed by the main verb throw. So do we throw garbage in the dustbin? Question mark. Number 2. She is distributing saplings for plantation. Now what is the auxiliary verb over here? Auxiliary verb is. Now so the answer will start with the auxiliary verb followed by the subject. Who is the subject over here? She. So is she. Now the subject has to be followed by the main verb. Which is the main verb? Distributing. So is she distributing saplings for plantation? Question mark. I hope it is clear, children. Number 3. They will cast their vote. First auxiliary verb will. Then you have to follow it by the subject. Over here they. Will they. Now auxiliary verb followed by subject followed by the main verb. Main verb over here is cast. So will they cast their vote? Question mark. You have to remember this rule. Number 4. He took medicines. What is the rule? Auxiliary verb followed by the subject followed by the main verb. Auxiliary verb over here is did he take medicines? Did is a questioning word. So did followed by subject he followed by the main verb take. So did took becomes take. Did he take medicines? Question mark. So what is the rule over here? Auxiliary verb helps the main verb to describe action. That action happened in the past, happening in the present, or will happen in future. So we have to remember the rule in these cases. Auxiliary verb followed by subject followed by main verb. Then you can easily answer these kind of questions. Next, children, Shreya knows you very well. So because we have to change it into interrogative, it has to start with a question word. So does Shreya know you very well? Does is the auxiliary verb, subject Shreya followed by know, which is the main verb. Does Shreya know you very well? Question mark. Now change the sentence as directed. Now first, they had forgotten my phone number. Simple past. Now past tense of forget is forgot and the ed participle is forgotten. So they forgot my phone number is the answer. Number 2. She is baking walnut muffins. This is simple future, has to be changed to simple future. That means she will bake walnut muffins. Is baking becomes will bake in the future tense. Is baking is present continuous third person, which will become will bake simple future. Now number 3. Do you need any help? Simple past. Simple past means did you need any help? Now do you is simple present, which in the simple past becomes did you. Next, where are you going? We have to change it to past continuous. Now are becomes were. That means present continuous becomes past continuous. Where are you going? Where were you going? Number 5. She has visited the dentist. Present continuous. Now simple present becomes present continuous. She has visited the dentist. She is visiting the dentist. Because we have to make it present continuous, and whenever it is present continuous means ing is added to it, to the verb. Number 6. Why are you taking my book? Present perfect. Why have you taken my book? Present perfect. Now why are you taking was present continuous, which becomes why have you taken, which is present perfect. Number 7. They will buy new furniture. Past perfect. They had bought new furniture. Number 8. We grew organic fruits in our orchard. Future perfect. We shall have grown in the future, no? That is why shall have grown organic fruits in our orchard. Number 9. Sukriti followed the rules. Simple present. Sukriti follows the rules because simple present. Next. Number 10. I shall send you the required information. Simple past. I sent you the required information. Send becomes sent. Now number 10. Circle the correct spellings. You can go through this, children. Advertisement, affectionately, colleague, etiquette, gorgeous, receive, mischievous, psychology. Over here we write it as PSY, where P is silent. That is the correct spelling. Next. Complete the story developing the given outline. Give a suitable title to the story. Use past tense. A king was very upset as his people were very lazy. To teach them a lesson, he ordered his men to put a big rock in the middle of the main road. People would pass and go round it. Even the soldiers did the same. Everyone criticized the government, but nobody was willing to remove it. The condition remained the same for the whole week. At last, the king called his soldiers to remove the stone. They found a box on which was written that whoever removed the stone would have found a box full of gold and diamond jewelry inside it. The people felt ashamed. Now children, as you can see in this story, we have developed the outline in the past tense. Like felt ashamed, would have found a box full of gold, they found, the condition remained the same, everyone criticized the government. These are all past tense. So giving a suitable title for the story is Lazy People Never Get Lucky. Because over here, had the people been not lazy and removed the stone from the main road, they would have found some jewelry over there, gold and diamond jewelry, but they did not do. So they were at a loss. That is why a suitable title is Lazy People Never Get Lucky. Thank you children. I hope you found this Let's Revise chapter useful. If you want me to make more such videos related to your class 7 superb English grammar book, please do let me know in the comment section below. If you liked my video, please like, share and kindly subscribe to it. If you want more such videos, please comment. I would be more than glad to help you. Thank you.